Now, to discuss more on the late Babu Joseph Shabalala's legacy and staying power, I'm now joined in the studio by our very own music icon, Mam Yvonne Chaka Chaka, and the Cultural and Creative Industries Federation of South Africa's Secretary General, Ayanda Roda. A very good evening to both of you, and thank you for making the time. I'm sure it's been quite a hectic roller coaster ride.
Thank you very much for having us.
Perhaps let's start with legacy. And, you know, we're looking at what just played now, Babu Shabalala's, grandchildren all up, filling the stage, young, vibrant, and beautiful. And when you look at that, ultimately you think maybe that is what truly matters when you look at a person and the impact that they've made in our lives. But let me start with you, Yvonne. As far as legacy is concerned, what would you describe as legacy?
Well, legacy really for me, it's that staying power. I think Ubab Shabalala had the staying power. I mean, I don't know, I was not born when he started singing. And today I'm 54 years old, and his music still lives on, and his music is relevant, and it's loved by the world. So for me, legacy is something that has got longevity, which is something that Black Mambazo had.
You're somebody whose music has longevity. Your music also has transcended time in different eras and different generations. What is it about what you do that helps one create that legacy? And this from somebody who's literally walking the path themselves.
I think firstly, really, I'd like to thank all those who supported me. 2020, I turned 55. It's going to be 35 years. I'm going to be 35 years in the music industry, wow. And 15 years since doing all the UN work. So I just want to thank those who lifted me, and made me what I am. I think music, you have to be yourself. You don't have to be somebody else. Music, you don't have to copy others, which is what we had to learn from people like Miriam Makeba, Babu Joseph Shabalala. Soul Brothers, they knew who they were. Right. They appreciated their music. They wanted to spread it through the world. So they never wanted to be anything else. So the kind of music that I sing like Yvonne. I'm Yvonne. I don't want to be anything else. There was one Brenda Fassie. There was one Miriam Makeba. And there's just only Lady Smith, Black Mambazo. And you can imagine they've spread their wings and they put South Africa in the world limelight.
As an organization, you advocated for Babu Shabalala to have a state funeral. Why was it important for him to have a state funeral in your view, and why did you advocate for that?
Yes, thank you very much. We should understand that the role that Babu Shabalala has played in the country, especially the transition from apartheid to democracy. He is one of the artists that were featuring, other races in doing the music. One of the artists that he made sure that he uses the influence of his language in passing the message throughout the world, not only in South Africa. It's one of the people that stood in his ground that his only language will be able to make a living for him. So we then thought to say the role that he has played as a legend in the music industry, and the role that he has played in our life as South African and ordinary South Africans, we need to celebrate him through his funeral. We need to celebrate him beyond his funeral. And I like what the president has said, the commitment that they have made, that they are going to have an academy around Isicathamiya. It's one of the celebrations that we should applaud and thank the president and the country and also the minister to say they are now taking our issues serious, not only through Babu Shabalala but other means. So we thought it's very important for the president to give him a state funeral, and we are really grateful that the president did that when we call with respect to him.
Mam Yvonne has said that legacy to her is longevity, having that staying power. How would you describe it?
Legacy is a force that will live beyond your absence as a person. Babu Shabalala was a force behind his legacy, his music. You could imagine that he lived to this age, but his music was still being performed by his kids, by his group, even after when he was not feeling well. So that was only what was a force that Babu Shabalala, he was into the space of the music industry. So that's how I would define a legacy.
Let's talk about Isicathamiya. You know, those who are from KZN or any South African would pretty much know about it. But give us a bit of background about its origins, but also perhaps most importantly, how Babu Shabalala kind of gave it his own personal feel. I was reading an interview that was done by one of his cousins and a group member who said that for 6 months, literally, Babu Shabalala had dreamt about having a singing ensemble where they'd be dressed and singing, and it took years for him to even get his cousins and his families to form part of that group. But give us a bit of background about Isicathamiya and the role that Babu Shabalala played in bringing it home and making it and owning it.
Isicathamiya is another form of us as black people expressing ourselves. I mean, we all know that as African we use music when we are sad, we use music when we are happy, we use music when we are trying to address issues. And like you heard in one of the insert that just played now that it used to be sang through our hostels, where during that time it was tense, it was not easy to allow a person to have a group of people singing in one place. They would find that maybe they're trying to do something against the then government. So it actually worked to assist in making us to be where we are. So Isicathamiya, it was a force to give a message out there.
Mm-hmm. And your view on that, Ma'am?
Well, I must say that I'm just so grateful that the world got to know this man, appreciate him, and love his kind of music, because Babu Shabalala did not want to be anything else, as I said. He did what he knew best. He knew with the kind of music that he was singing, he was going to attract so much people, you know, and love from outside, because it was just him. It was his kind of music. So for me, really, Isicathamiya, I want to say, it's sad that it had to take Babu Shabalala to go overseas to be loved and appreciated and be held in the highest esteems here in this very country. It's sad that our people have to cross the seas, loved by other people, appreciated because it's something new to them. And then we then at home start opening our eyes. It's actually very, very sad. But he did not want to be anything else. He held on to what he believed in. He held on to the music that he knew best and just continued to spread his wings.
And perhaps a message for young performers as well is to stay true to what you know best, stay true to your origins and to your roots. And even though you may not be immediately appreciated in your immediate surroundings, somebody somewhere is always watching.
Well, I think it is very, very important for the fact that he did not want to be anything else. Even his young kids are singing. His grandchildren now are continuing with his legacy. So it really shows that the kind of music that he loved and knew best, he put his foot down and said, if you want to grow this kind of music, follow me, I will teach you. And he did just that. And I'm grateful to his children, his great-grandchildren, who are continuing with the legacy and singing this kind of music.
And indeed, the legacy does continue. I thank you both so much for your time this evening.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Now, that's Ma'am Yvonne Chaka Chaka, our very own African legend, really beyond South African shores, the princess.